So that's all I have to say about Quintet Fight Night 3, Christian. Is there anything else you want to say, or do you want to just get into the meat of what we're here to talk about today?
Nah, I think that you said enough about Quintet, and I think we said enough about other things to have gone on as far as this podcast goes. Let's get to the reason why we're all here, and that is Rizin 15, which will be taking place from the Yokohama Arena in Yokohama, Kanagawa, Japan. If you're listening to this podcast, it'll be this upcoming Sunday, Easter Sunday, April 21st, live exclusively in North America on the Fight TV app and Fight.tv. That is FITE for you simpletons out there. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the meat of the meat and potatoes of this, and we are going by what is being the projected fight list on Wikipedia. And that is the first fight, which was the first fight that was canceled off of the Rizin 14 card that happened on New Year's Eve, between Reina Kubota, the shoot boxing goddess, and Samantha Jean-Francois. First of all, the particulars on Spicy Samantha Jean-Francois. She's 5'4", 104.9 pounds, 32 years of age, born February the 27th of 1987, fighting out of Full Power Martial Arts, hailing from Marseille, France. She has a record of 3 wins, 5 losses, and 1 no contest, and is a veteran of British Challenge MMA, 100% Fight, and the WWFC, where she recently had an 0-2 stint in the promotion. Her opponent is the shoot boxing goddess, Reina Kubota, at 7-2 overall, a representative of the Caesar Takeshi Gym and a world-class shoot boxer. At 5'3", she weighs in at 112.4 pounds. She is 27 years of age, born June 29, 1991, fighting out of Konohana, Osaka, Japan. She, obviously, as you can tell, is a shoot boxer who also trains out of the Abe Ane Combat Club under the tutelage of Megumi Fuji. And obviously, this will be her first fight in MMA or overall since losing to Kana Asakura at Rizin 11 back on July 29th, which in turn led to Kana losing to Ayaka Hamasaki. So, I have to ask, what are your thoughts about the Reina Samantha Jean-Francois fight, and do you think that Reina's issues with amnesia and weight conditioning will probably help her focus more on this fight?
Well, this fight's it's supposed to be a few more kilograms above, right? Or pounds above, right? Than the last fight was supposed to be. That one's supposed to be at 105. I think this one's at 112. I think.
Yeah, 51 kilograms, 112.4 pounds.
So presumably she won't die or come close to death for the weigh-in. I hope. I watched the Rizin Confessions video that they just did on her and Samantha Jean-Francois, and Reina said that she was so embarrassed that she didn't make weight that she didn't leave her house for like a week. And they were showing all these like tweets that people were tweeting to her in Japanese saying like, "You're a disgrace, Reina. You don't have warrior spirit," or whatever, stuff like that. And so she said she was so embarrassed by that. But I mean, like, I'm gonna say I hope it doesn't affect her. Reina should win this fight very easily. She should just give a body punch or a body kick to Samantha Jean-Francois and put her down in the first round. If she loses fights, then Reina should go to 1, because
no.
Because
and then she'll be tormented by those damn one championship devils.
Well, here's also she this was also the Rizin 34 Crutch video. She also said that as long as Ayaka is champion, she will not fight for that belt in Rizin. So that's why she's also moving up. So that's why she's also and so hold on a second, Christian. Joseph really wants to join in. How do you know how you I'm gonna try one more time with him.
Okay, because we were just getting into a nice conversation about this fight.
Now he's not available. Okay. So I'm gonna exit out. I'm gonna turn off Skype.
Understandably so. Shall we continue?
Yes. Want to edit that out? Or do you want to start from, or should we start from the beginning? What do you want to do?
Nah, I think we can continue.
Okay. So as I was saying, with Reina, yeah, she said that she won't fight for any championship while Ayaka, because they're training partners. So that's why she's also moving up. And so, yeah, I mean, she also said that she has aspirations to fight overseas in America, by the way, not Singapore.
I can understand that because, I mean, what is every foreign fighter's big dream?
Yeah, to fight, internationally, get a name for themselves, all that stuff.
Yes, I can agree with you on that, but it's mostly to fight in America.
That's true. So, hope, Reina should win this fight pretty easily. I previously did a thing on Samantha when she was supposed to fight in Rizin 14. I'm not going to go through her whole thing again, but I don't think that she has the ability to beat Reina if Reina comes in there to win that fight, and doesn't let her mind get ahead of her. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. I think you're right about that, and of course the Tapology fan base are basically saying that Spicy Samantha, ain't got a snowball chance in hell because Reina, according to the Tapology predictors, they have her as a 92% favorite to win this fight.
No surprise there. Reina has to win by knockout. That's the only way this fight can go. If it goes anywhere, Reina should be ashamed if she loses this fight. She really should.
Oh yeah, but I hope that Reina won't be ashamed to the point where, she has no one else to turn to and she just has to go to that damned one championship.
Or she'll just have to stay at home and play with her Bulldogs.
Oh yeah. I mean, not like that. I mean, it's not like there's any problem with that. I mean, I'm pretty sure she would love to spend time playing with her, but playing with her mutts. No disrespect.
But hopefully this will get Reina back on the track for what she wants to do as a fighter.
Yes, of course it will. Hopefully it will, because I'm just hoping that she'll be steered toward the right way as far as getting back on the winning track goes. Now the next fight we're gonna get to, as far as the Wikipedia fight catalog, the Wikipedia fight listings are concerned, is a flyweight bout, a women's flyweight bout between Shinju, Juju, Nozawa, that's my baby, Eau Claire, and Sale Orozco. First of all, a little info on Orozco. She's 5'5", 125 pounds, age 27, born May the 12th, 1991, fighting out of Legion MMA, and hailing from Monterrey, Nuevo León, Mexico. She has an MMA record of 4-2, and she is looking to prove herself. I mean, not just to herself, but the entire country of Mexico, as the first Mexican fighter to fight inside the Rizin ring. So I'm pretty sure that she's gonna have the entire country looking to cheer for her. And considering the fact that there is like a big Mexican contingency that lives in Japan, as well as a Brazilian contingency that lives in Japan. So I'm pretty sure that the Mexican contingency are going to come out in droves for Miss Orozco. Now, as far as Miss Juju is concerned, she is 2-1 overall as far as being a professional MMA fighter. 5'8", 124.7 pounds. She is the daughter of a famous Japanese comedian named Naoko Nozawa. 25 years old, born October the 29th, 1993 in New York City, fighting out of Team Cesar Gracie, I think, in San Francisco, California, by way of Santa Ana, California. And of course, if you last kept track, Shinju lost to Justyna Haba, the Polish Laura Croft, via submission, via sleeper hold, at Rizin 14, 3 minutes 41 seconds of round number 2, after defeating her first two opponents, Puma star Sheena Brandenburg and Chelsea Lagrasse, with ease via armbar. So, seeing the fact that this is Shinju's first fight since the loss to Justyna Haba, and the fact that she's basically fighting somebody that unless you really follow Mexican MMA, she's not really well known. How do you think this will affect her?
Well, I think that first fight, I think that they originally wanted Shinju Okura to win. I really do believe that. I don't think that they were booking her against an 0-0 fighter to come out and lose the end. So now she's got a little bit of a tougher opponent now, someone who's 4-2. Someone who I've watched a few of her fights. She fought for what was it? Lux Fight and Gex, I think it's called. Gex MMA.
Yeah, the most known promotion that she has fought for is the Lux Fight League. I should know because the event that she fought on, the event that Orozco last fought on was streamed live on Twitch.tv and on YouTube.
Here's the thing, though. This Saturday, Orozco is a good MMA fighter, but not a great MMA fighter, if that makes any sense. She's good.
Right.
She's good against competition in Mexico, but when it comes to other competition, I don't know if she's going to be able to stack up against them. I'll say this: she's good in the stand-up. She's a very good stand-up fighter. But I haven't really seen her go to the ground that much, and that's how Shinju's won all of her other matches, was on the ground. So I think that this match going on the ground would favor Shinju. And also the fact that also Shinju is much taller than Saturday Orozco by about 3 inches. Maybe more. I would say that Shinju has to win this match. I don't see, unless Orozco, I like saying that name, she gets some lucky shots in and can knock out Shinju. I don't see how that. I think that Shinju could easily get this gap. You could use her length and her reach to get it down to the ground, and then submit her that way. Become 3-1.
And the Tapology fan base are saying that Shinju is the overwhelming favorite with 83% of the vote. But do you think that Senorita Orozco will probably come in as do you think that she'll be fighting like an underdog, so to speak?
Oh, absolutely, yes. She absolutely will be. She absolutely will be fighting as the underdog.
Yeah, but I'm basically saying, do you think with the fact that Orozco has more experience, that she'll probably be coming in looking to fight like an underdog?
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. Well, this is the first person that she's fought who's had an actual record in MMA. Shinju, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I would say yeah. I would say so. Even though she's got more fights under her belt, more wins. I would say she's still definitely the underdog in this match. I think that a lot of people are expecting Shinju to win this, and for Saray, I think that a lot of people are expecting that Sale Orozoko is going to be coming in to lose this bout to her. I think that's what the goal is for this fight, is to bring Shinju back. She lost against an 0-0 fighter previously. Now she can defeat a fighter who's 4-2. That raises her stock as a fighter, and also gets a win under her belt, 3-1. It gets her to that potential flyweight tournament that's been talked about for the women.
Mm-hmm. I can understand.
What do you think, Christian?
I mean, when it comes down to that particular fight, I know the only reason why I said Orozco is not gonna come in fighting like your typical underdog is because of two reasons. Because of the fact that she has the experience factor, but it's because of the fact that if you probably looked at that Lux MMA fight that she had recently in Mexico City, you probably know that she doesn't fight like your traditional run-of-the-mill. I'm not trying to be ethnic with it, run-of-the-mill Mexican, but still, she is probably going to be looking to spoil Shinju's return party, and I think that Shinju should be worried. But I think that if Shinju stays on the straight and narrow and tries to listen to what her corner people have to say, especially Gilbert Melendez, I think that Shinju will probably take this fight.
I think so too. I absolutely think so too. And hopefully her mother will be in the audience to cheer her on with, "That's my baby."
Yeah, of course.
Excuse me, but you want? Hey, Christian, I'm gonna be going to the bathroom for a second. You can take over for the next fight, but I definitely want to be here to talk about the next fight because that is my most exciting fight that I'm looking forward to. But I will be gone for a little bit.
Oh, okay. And that fight that Andrew was talking about is the battle of the undefeated, at least so far in their young respective MMA careers. This next bout will be a flyweight contest, just like the Shinju Orozco fight, pitting Polish military expert the Polish Laura Croft, Justyna Haba, versus the undefeated 6-0-1 Kana Watanabe. First of all, the particulars. Justyna Haba, 5'5", 124.9 pounds, 28 years of age, born January 25th, 1991. Representing Gracie Balarezlo, fighting out of Reslo, Poland. And of course, her first professional MMA fight after getting 2 bouts canceled on her. One of them was supposed to have been against UFC fighter, now UFC contender, Caitlin Blonde fighter Chokagian. She obviously was the person to defeat Juju Nozawa Auclair via sleeper choke at Rizin 14, second round, 3 minutes 41 seconds. But she'll be looking to improve on that momentum in what will probably be the biggest test to date in her career as she faces off against Japanese standout Kana Watanabe. The particulars on Watanabe: 5'6", 125.9 pounds. She is 30 years old. She is 30 years of age. Born August 21st, 1988. Representing Fighters Flow and hailing from Tokyo, Japan. She is an accomplished judoka who has won a multitude of All Japan Judo Championships, placing multiple times and winning in several international competitions. undefeated in Rizin, obviously 2-0. But this will be her first opponent not named Shizuka Shion Sugiyama inside the Rizin ring. I mean, Sugiyama, she and her, what am I trying? Watanabe and Sugiyama had a couple of good fights. Their first one was probably the best, where Watanabe via unanimous decision on December 29, 2017, and then 366 days later, Watanabe KO'd poor Sugiyama with a right hook in 11 seconds, and then later on, about 4 months later, actually 3 months later, she knocked out Su-Min Kang via crucifix KO, crucifix punches, 4 minutes 30 round number 1. This fight's basically gonna be Haba looking for her second professional victory versus Watanabe looking for a win in the Rizin ring over somebody other than Shizuka Shion Sugiyama. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts?
Well, I heard everything because my bathroom's actually close by to where my laptop was, so I was able to hear everything. And I'm so excited for this fight because it's against two fighters who are undefeated, two fighters who have looked great in all their previous fights. I know that Justyna Haba has only had one fight, but she looked great in that fight against Shinju. And Kana Watanabe, as you said, she went in there against the underdog in her Rizin match against Shinzuki Sugiyama and absolutely murked her in that match. And then in the rematch, knocked her out in 7 and whatever it was, 11 seconds. And since then, for Deep Jewels, she has defeated all but one of her opponents. Well, actually, I take that back. She's defeated all of her opponents, and including and finishing all but two of them, all but one in Deep Jewels. Yokari Nabe, which originally they wrestled to a decision majority, and then they had a rematch which went to a decision majority in favor of Kana Watanabe. But this is one of those fights where, I have no idea how it's going to go. I'm genuinely intrigued by both of these fighters and how it can go. I can see Justyna Haba winning this. I can see Kana Watanabe winning this. They both are finishers. They both are incredible fighters. I don't know, this is so hard to pick, and that's why it's such a compelling matchup for me.
I can understand that, but I think that the advantage is probably going to go more towards Kana because she has the most to give. She's obviously the most experienced of the two, and she's obviously going to be the one with the most to learn from it if she loses. Haba, who's only fought in one professional MMA bout and obviously 2 amateur bouts prior to that, but that was a long time ago, 6 years ago. Haba is going to have the most to gain from it if she wins.
Exactly, and I know what do the Tapology people say about this fight?
Oh, the Tapology people are basically saying that Kana is the overwhelming favorite with 85% of the votes. So do you think that Watanabe is the Kana with a shoulder?
Oh, it absolutely could be. You know what? I can. It's so hard to pick a winner for this. I really, she does have the that. But the thing is that, even with with the advantage that Shinju had, that didn't help her, and she lost. Ha! It's so funny how just like that, how stuff in MMA works out.
Exactly.
I'm gonna be a betting man in this. I'm gonna say that Justyna Haba wins this. She finishes Kana Watanabe. Here, when Joseph Matos was on the show for the Rizin 14 show, he was all behind Justyna Haba, and I admit I wrote her off. And he was able to do a big victory lap when she won that match against Shinju. And you know what? I think that Justyna Haba is going to give Kana Watanabe her first loss. I'm going to go against the Tapology people. I'm going to go with just my gut feeling, my gut instinct about Justyna Haba. That a lot of people, just because she's 1-0, and she had 2 amateur fights many years ago, that she's being underwritten as she's being overlooked. I don't think people should overlook her. I think that Justyna Haba is here to stay for Rizin. I think she'll win this fight, and I think she'll definitely be in that Flyweight Tournament. That's going to happen. What do you think, Christian?
Hey, I think that, I know that you want to go for Justyna Haba, but I'm basically agree to disagree because, I mean, we don't know much about Haba, and truth be told, we don't know much about Kana, but all I do know is that Kana, she's basically going to go through a tear soon. If she wins this fight against Haba, she is probably going to go through a tear where she'll just be like, I don't want to say like James Harden levels of unstoppable, but she'll be pretty damn close.
Question. Depending on who wins this match, and if Shinju wins her match, do you match up Shinju with the winner of this match eventually? At some point, you think?
To be quite honest with you, I don't think so because if you put Shinju against Kana, what's to say that Kana won't demolish Shinju like a like a basic Barbie doll looking broad?
I gotcha.
And if you put Shinju in a rematch with Haba, what's to say the same thing won't happen again?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. That's a good point. That's an incredibly good point. But I want to put it down on the record that I am picking Haba to win this. I'm going to go down on my sword with this. I think that Haba is going to win this.
Okay, I get what you mean, man, but don't try and screw around with the majority because because if you do, you're not going to like the end result. Believe me.
That's true. That's true. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So now that we got our picks in for that bout, do you want to go on to the next bout on the card?
Certainly.
Ah, yes. And obviously, whereas the first 3 fights are obviously something to give, something to be excited about. This light heavyweight clash is not only going to be a banger, but it's probably going to decipher who is going to be the #1 contender to the Rizin Light Heavyweight Championship once a first champion is all said and done in the main event. Anyways, the particulars. First of all, for Cristiano Usofrolik, he is 28 years of age, born March the 13th, 1991 in Curitiba, Brazil. He is 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing in at 184.8 pounds, have to bulk up in order to be a part of this fight, and he has a 76.5-inch reach. Representing Evolucal Thai MMA and fighting at a Campina Grande do Sul, Pahana, Brazil. He will be making his Rizin Fighting Federation debut as a veteran of Immortal FC, Aspella FC, XFC International, the Heel Fighters, Empire FC, Katana Fight, and the Legacy Fighting Alliance. Also, he has not fought since July 21st of 2018. You have to be understanding that they can't blame the entire Brazilian MMA decline on the UFC solely. But still, his opponent, King Carl Albrechtsen, who will be fighting in his first Rizin contest in a little over a year. Albrechtsen, 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing 204.9 pounds. He is 25 years of age 25, born September the 27th, 1993. and fighting out of CSW Training Center, Huntington Beach, Fullerton, California, USA, by way of Pancrase Gym, Stockholm, Sweden. And obviously, like I said, Albrechtsen has not fought in the Rizin ring in a little over a year. He is 2-2 in the Rizin Fighting Federation, defeating Vadim Nemkov and Theodoros Akstorif, losing to Valentin Moldavsky, and to now Rizin Light Heavyweight Championship contender Yuri Denisha Prohaska. But since the Prohaska fight, he's bounced back with 2 victories in Superior Challenge. A knockout win over Dmitry Tebekin, and a knockout win over former UFC competitor Josh Stansberry back in December. So, when it comes down to the Froelich-Albrechtsen fight, what are your thoughts about this, and do you think that the winner of this fight will obviously be the first in line for a light heavyweight title opportunity?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Carl Albrechtsen, one of the most underrated fighters, I think, that like a lot of people overlook. Here's the thing, that Jiri fight, he was winning that fight until the very end. And if that, just 3 more seconds, he could have survived in that round, it would have gone to the next round. Also, one of the few people to defeat Vadim Nemkov, who is right now one of the top guys in Bellator right now. Albrechtsen is a great fighter. He's not a good fighter, he's a great fighter. Here's the other thing is also, his opponent, Froelich, is that how you pronounce his last name? Froelich? How you pronounce his last name again?
Froelich.
Froelich.
Froelich, as in like frolic in the woods.
Yeah. Apparently he's a middleweight, and he's coming up in weight for this fight, I think.
Oh yeah, he is a middleweight, but let's be real. He's also a protege of the legendary Vanderlei the Axe Murderer Silva. So you know what he's going to be capable of doing.
So actually I want to read a little comment from a listener, from Dean Honeybadge, who's at Dean Burley MMA. And he said that this is the match he's most hyped for because of Carl Albrechtsen. And this is what he says about his opponent, Froelich. He's an aggressive Muay Thai guy. Perfect for Rizin. I think he's going to struggle with a guy Carl's size, though. The winner is on the fast track for a title shot against King Mo Ojiri. And I think I have to agree with him that I think the size difference is going to be a big play in this. Especially with Carl Albrechtsen, a light heavyweight, going up against a guy who usually fights at middleweight. And I think that Carl Albrechtsen is going to just overpower and steamroll through him. I think he's going to probably will knock him out, actually. Actually, no. I think he'll submit him. I think he'll probably submit him, like, within the first or second round. He'll get him down to the ground, use that catch wrestling, and then go for, like, an arm triangle choke or armbar or something.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I mean, to be honest with you, and I mean, you're saying that Albrechtsen will win, right?
Yes.
Well, to be honest, and I know that you're probably saying this because the Tapology fan base has Albrechtsen at a 92% chance to win, therefore making him the overall favorite. But if you think about it, Froelich is a trainee of Vanderlei Silva. Think about the other two Vanderlei Silva trainees that just came through Rizin, and Diego Bandal and Luiz Killer Gustavo, who we'll talk about later in this card review. Those two are certified killers. And you probably might be thinking, oh, well, I don't know if Froelich has that killer instinct, but to be quite honest, Froelich, we probably don't know much about this man, but if he can if he can destroy Carl Albrechtsen, that'll make him a bona fide killer. Believe me.
I did watch some of his fights, and he is a good fighter. This guy, he is an aggressive, violent guy. Here's the thing though as well. Don't forget who Diego Brandel's last fight that was in Rizin was him going kissing the canvas to a Darian Cruikshank, and also the another guy before that as well besides Luiz Gustavo. The
Nunez.
Oh, I didn't know he was a Wanderlei guy, but I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say Minoru Kimura.
Yeah, right. We all know the 7-second beatdown he got from Charles Felony Bennett.
So that's why, like, I'm Frolic, is. I just don't. I think he's. I don't think he's gonna be able to just to stand and go the way that he goes with Carl Albrechtsen. Carl Albrechtsen, I think, is a just smarter fighter, and he's just gonna. He's not gonna fall into. He's not gonna fall into Frolic's traps and getting knocked out or anything like that. I think he's just gonna easily take him down and just submit him that way.
I understand that, but I think we're gonna have to agree to disagree, because I think that anybody that trains under Wanderlei Silva, and I know that this dates back to the Brandao days when he was in Rizin, but you have to think there's probably a 100% chance of pure Brazilian violence to go into that Rizin ring.
Oh yeah.
I have a feeling that Frolik just might shock the world, so to speak.
And if he does, he absolutely deserves a title shot, or at least like one more match and then a title shot.
Yes, because if you think about it, the Rizin light heavyweight division is just starting up, and as long as we don't get any people like Brandon Halsey in it,
Gross.
mean, obviously it'll be a nice little fun division to watch.
Exactly. Want to move on to the next fight?
Yes. Let's go ahead and move on carefully to the next fight. And I know that this next fight is not without its current controversy. This next fight is not without its current set of mishaps. It was supposed to have been Kai Asakura versus Yuta Okasasaki, but obviously Yuta Okasasaki went down with a bit of a slight illness, so he's not going to be fighting, at least for a little bit, even though I know that Ray Longo and Matt Serra probably wanted to see him fight just so that they can yell at him some more.
So I'm sorry to interrupt you, Christian. Do you know what the exact reason why he had to pull out the fight?
To be honest. Oh, wait, actually, basically he says, and I'm looking at Wikipedia right now, that he suffered from a visceral infection.
I have no idea what that is, but that sounds really gross. It sounds like you get something going.
Let's just say it's a place that no man wants to talk about.
Exactly. It sounds like he went to the Amazon and some mosquito bit him and gave him like something. I have no idea what it is, but like it sounds disgusting and really, really painful.
Yeah, no shit. But still, when one door closes, another one opens, as they say. And even though we're not going to get the fight we wanted, it's going to be better than the fight that was intended. And that fight has now been changed to Kai Asakura versus Justin Tank Scoggins. Now the particulars. Justin Tank Scoggins, 5'7", 125.5 pounds with a 66-inch reach. Age 26, born May the 2nd, 1992. From South Carolina, more specifically Spartanburg, South Carolina, USA. He is a Kempo karate expert, but also he is riding a 4-fight losing streak, and he set a lot of demands when it came down to wanting a potential opportunity to fight for the Rizin Bantamweight title or the Rizin Flyweight title. But still, this is a guy. You look at a guy, and I'm sorry for going into Chris Collinsworth mode, but this man is 4-5. Well, actually, this man is 4-6 in his last 10. 4-5 in the octagon with the UFC, and obviously 0-1 inside the Rizin ring, losing to now former deep bantamweight champion Yuki Motoya via Lexus' choke, 3 minutes 28 seconds of round 1. So he's gonna probably not come into that fight with a clear conscience, so to speak, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a second.
Yeah.
As for his opponent, Kai Asakura, 5'8", 138.2 pounds, age 25, born Halloween 1993, representing Triforce Akasaka and Zendokai Toyonaga, fighting out of Toyohashi, Aichi, Japan. He is riding a 4-fight winning streak, each of those 4 inside the Rizin ring. He is probably going to come here with a clear conscience compared to Mr. Scoggins, who's gone through a lot. So I just have to ask, what are your absolute thoughts about this fight? And do you think that Scoggins, after all that we have recently seen from him and his crazy list of demands, and now he's deleted his social media, or one of his social media accounts, that he's not coming into this with the right frame of mind?
Yeah, we'll talk about the demands that he was making. He said that he wanted this match should be for the vacant flyweight championship in Rizin.
Well, yeah, to crown the first ever Rizin flyweight champion for the men.
First of all, I don't think this fight was going to be at flyweight anyway. It wasn't even close to flyweight. I think it was above the flyweight limit, I believe.
Actually, this fight, if I'm mistaken, it's at 61 kilos or 135 pounds. So, yeah, Scoggins would be wanting to challenge for the Rizin Bantamweight Championship, which is currently held by Kyoji Horiguchi.
I don't know if that was a mistake on his end, or if, I don't know what was up with that. But, regarding, as you said, he is on a 4-fight losing streak.
And like I said, he's 4-6 in his last 10.
And with him deleting his Twitter, God, it just doesn't sound like he might be in the right frame of mind for a fight like this, especially a short notice fight as well. That's the other thing. This fight is short notice as fuck. Almost, I think, about 2 weeks. There was a lot of speculation that he was going to be getting a fight against Tenshin Nasukawa, but I don't know if you know what? I don't know. Was that fight? I wonder if that fight was supposed to happen, but then when Oka had to pull out, they decided, okay, we're gonna have Justin fight Kai, and then we're gonna get the new guy fight Tenshin. I wonder if that happened, because there would seem to definitely be a lot of indication that he would be fighting Tenshin, Justin, but. As you said, Kai's on a big winning streak. Big winning streak.
4-fight winning streak. All 4 of them inside the Rizin ring.
Other than the Manel K fight, he basically has gone through all of his opponents. What do the Tapology people say?
Oh, the Tapology people, they're not showing much sympathy for Mr. Scoggins. Kai Asakura is a 76% overwhelming favorite going into this fight, but I mean, to be quite honest, when it comes down to Scoggins, I mean, you've seen the demands that he posted out before he deleted his Twitter account. I mean, he's obviously not happy about coming into the fight on such short notice, knowing that he was wanting a bigger opportunity, i.e. to fight Tenshin Nasukawa or to compete for the Bantamweight title, but still, the point of the matter is, I think Scoggins needs to suck it up and, try and work his magic, try and find a way to shake off this stride that he's been on, because this is the longest stride he's been on in his career, especially stretching through 2 different promotions.
If Scoggins does win this, what do you do with him after? What do you think?
I mean, I would say, we all go through mental issues. I mean, I go through them myself. You do too. But I would basically say check up on him, pretty much, because, I mean, if he wins this fight, there's no telling what he'll do or what he'll say just to, get the people behind him, or just scoff, groan, and cringe at him.
Obviously, if Kai wins this, probably he'll be next in line for a bantamweight title shot. I'm guessing.
That he will.
I'm just trying to think, like, what do you do with Scoggins after? Here's the thing, though. Like, I'm wondering, I've always wondered why. I remember Jae-Hoon Moon said this when he rematched with Kai. Actually, ironically enough, Kai Azakura, that I don't know why I took this fight. Is this a case of, you think, maybe buyer's remorse, where they got offered a lot of money to sign, and then they were like kind of thinking like, well, I don't know if I should have signed so quickly or something like that, or what do you think? Why do you think these fighters seem to be, I don't know, not, like almost regretting taking the fight? Not saying that Justin's regretting it, but it sounds like he wanted more after the fact.
Right. But to be honest, I think he basically saying that he wants a different opponent just to make this 4-fight deal that he's on with Rizin seem like something that's worth his while.
Well, I'm gonna pick Kai. I think Kai wins this very easily. Justin Scoggins comes in there, with a different mindset. Hopefully he get a win back. Snap that losing streak. But as of now, I don't see how he can win this. I think Kai will just be, I don't know if Kai finishes it though. That's the one thing I've been disappointed with Kai, is that he hasn't finished any fights since the first matches that he's had in Rizin. So, but besides that, I think that Kai should win this.
Hey, I won't be surprised if Kai wins this as well, but either way, if Scoggins wins or loses, they need to at least check up on him and see if he don't do anything stupid.
Yeah, no, I agree. Speaking of interesting bantamweight matches, we should take a look at the next fight, because I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that one.
Interesting bantamweight fight indeed, but this ain't no damn bantamweight bout per se.
Oh, it's not?
This is a bout that's in the flyweight division, 58 kilos, 130 pounds, and that fight is between Seiichiro Ito, the former Zest flyweight champion, versus El Brother Jail, Manel Cape. First of all, the particulars. Manel Cape, age 25, born November 14, 1993 in Oporto, Portugal. Most recently fighting out of American Kickboxing Academy, Thailand, in Phuket, Thailand. He is of Angolan Portuguese descent. Therefore, he is the Angolan Portuguese bad boy. 5'6", 133 pounds, with a 12-4 MMA record, and he has a Rizin record of 3-3. His opponent, and also he is a former Rizin Bantamweight Grand Prix runner-up as well. But he's been on a bit of a controversial streak, so to speak. He's 1-3 in his last 4. In the meantime, his opponent, the former Zest flyweight champion, Seiichiro Ito, 5'4", 127.5 pounds, age 25, born December 3rd, 1993, fighting out of Reversal Gym Yokohama Ground Slam, and hailing from Yokohama, Kanagawa, Japan. So that means He's the hometown favorite coming into this fight, and this will be his first Rizin bout in a little over 2 years when he defeated former K1 kickboxer Kizai Taiga. So, you got Cape coming in, looking to try and make something happen, versus Ito, the hometown kid, looking to make the crowd excited. To get the crowd excited in his home prefecture. So, what are your thoughts about this fight? And do you think that Cape might actually, pull something off?
Well, I don't know if you've seen Cape. Cape has been totally just like dumping on Ito the entire time that this match has been announced. I think they were doing, on Instagram. Rizin does those.
Oh shit! Don't tell me.
On Instagram.
Don't tell me this dude's basically doing some of his easy money rants.
Well,
please don't tell me.
On Instagram, on the Rizin official Instagram page, they do these open workouts that they'll stream live on Instagram. And Manel Cape was on Ethos and just totally trash talking him on there, during that the live workout, which I thought I wasn't there live to see it because I don't know what time it was, but I seen pictures from it. It was fucking hilarious. There was Manel Cape also said something else. Let me try to get the quote that he said. Manel Cape said, I have been studying my opponent, and what I have to say is very simple, is that there is no rivalry between men and lions. I honestly think he is an interesting opponent, but not for me. I should be fighting with my baby Azakura.
So what he's basically saying is he wants to get his ass handed to him by Kai Asakura. Is that correct?
Potentially so, yeah. So basically, Cape is overlooking whatchamacallit, Ito, not taking him seriously at all. I don't.
Of course.
So the thing is that Seiichiro Ito, has been on a layoff for about a little bit over about a year. Was it like a year or 2 years that he had a layoff of some kind initially?
Oh yeah, Ito has not had a fight in the Rizin ring in 2 years going up on this fight.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he hasn't been busy. He's been doing grappling bouts with Hideo Tokoro and Daisuke Tsugi, but he most recently lost in MMA. He most recently lost his return to the Zest ring, losing to Tatsuki Sawamoto at Zest 62 back on October 28th.
Okay, and so he's on a 1-loss losing streak while Manel Cape is on a 2-fight losing streak, I believe it is, or is it 1? No, I think it's 1.
1 fight losing streak.
That was it. Okay.
But he's 1-3 in his last 4.
That was it. Yes, that was it. Okay. I've seen Ito fight before in Rizin. He's a good fighter, but the last fight that Manel Cape had, he did not prepare well for that fight against Okazaki.
Exactly. And that's where basically he let his ego write a check his ass can't cash. Same thing went for the fight that he had with Kai Asakura.
So if he doesn't take Ito seriously, I think then he might lose, but I have to say that Cape is a better fighter overall. I would say. I think that Cape wins this. I don't know if he's going to finish him, but I can see this fight going distance.
I can understand that, and the Tapology fan base are saying that Cape is a pretty understanding favorite at 62%. But I think that I'm going to have to, once again, agree to disagree, because I think that Ito is going to probably come in not looking to play around with Cape's antics. He's going to come in put on for his prefecture in this case. You know, like a lot of people will put on for their city. He's putting on for his prefecture, the entire city and prefecture of Yokohama Kanagawa, and I think that Ito probably might pull off a miracle, so to speak.
Well, actually, here's the other thing as well about the Tapology statistics. They're not as this is the most, I think. Is this the most split down the middle? I think between the two fighters, as if I'm looking at it correctly. In terms of
I guess you could say so.
it seems to be the most. Like all the other fights seem to be very one-sided. This one is a little bit like, it's a little bit split down the middle. So, if Ito win, if it's so weird, with Cape, it's like I'm trying to think of like another fighter who's like comparable to him. But like, it's like if Cape doesn't.
Basically saying he's like the lighter weight version of a King Mo.
Yeah, we're like
only with more ego.
Yeah, here's the thing, Cape. If Cape doesn't prepare, if he's gonna do his silly antics, he can still do his silly antics and still win. But he can also still do his silly antics to the point where it's gonna cost him the match, like it did with the Asakura match. If he can still shit talk and still win like he did with the was it the Ian McCall fight that happened.
The controversial Ian McCall fight.
I think I'm trying to think of like I wonder what do you think? You think he'll do anything at the weigh-ins? Think he'll do like a slap or a push or anything?
I won't be surprised if he doesn't.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to pick Cape with this. If Ito wins, though, I would not be surprised. But I'm gonna be going with Cape on this one.
Hey, I won't be surprised if Cape does win, but I'm still picking Ito, just because of the fact that you don't want to disappoint somebody that's gonna be fighting in their own hometown, city, or prefecture in this case.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he does have the home team advantage, so but regardless, I'm still going with Cape.
Understood. I ain't got no problem with that. So that's understood.
How about this next fight? This weirdly a weird weight fight, I'm gonna call it. And I'll explain why.
Oh, what do you mean the weird weight fight? Is it because it's at lightweight?
Well, that's the thing. It's at catch weight. But it's 1 kilogram above.
Not necessarily, Andrew. This is a 71 kilogram fight, meaning it's at 157 U.S. pounds. But it's still going to be a pretty exciting bout between Satoru Crazy Eyes Kitaoka and Roberto Satoshi de Sosa. First of all, the particulars. Satoru Kitaoka, 42, 18, and 9 overall. 5'5", 165.3 pounds. Age. Born and out of Lotus and hailing from Shinjuku, Indo, Tokyo, Japan. He is a judoka and a Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioner, a former lightweight king of Pancrase, Deep, and Sengoku featherweight champion. Or maybe I'm just talking out of my ass here. And well, actually, what I'm trying to say is he's a damn good fighter, pretty much. A damn good fighter to the point that where he's actually considered a JMMA legend. But, and there is a but, he is 2-3 in 5 Rizin appearances, losing to Yusuke Yachi, losing to Kichi Strasser Kunimoto, who is now in Bellator, and losing to Diego C.B. Brandao, who is now fighting somewhere in Russia. But he also choked out Darren Cruikshank in his Rizin debut, and he most recently defeated Tatsuya Kawajiri in the headlining bout of Heisei/Yorinoka. So he's got that going for him as well. In the meantime, his opponent, Roberto Satoshi de Sousa, 5'11", 163.1 pounds. He is 29 years of age, originally from Sao Paulo, Brazil, born in Sao Paulo on September the 19th, 1989. He fights out of, if I'm not mistaken, Bonsai Jiu-Jitsu. I don't know. I'm trying to search for that now. Screw me for my damn research. But still, Roberto Satoshi de Sousa is a veteran of Arzalet Fighting, aka the Real Fighting Championship. And he's also, as many people have noticed, he is a well-decorated jiu-jitsu practitioner, a well-decorated Brazilian jiu-jitsu warrior, I guess. But still, this fight, I know you're saying it's weird. I'm saying it's going to be something interesting. What are your thoughts about this one? And do you think that Roberto Satoshi de Sousa has a future in MMA?
Well, actually, I want to walk back. I'm only saying that at the weight they decided to have this fight at was weird. The fight, though, I'm really looking forward to. Two submission specialists taking on each other. Well, here's the thing also. The trade-off is also, when two people are so good at one martial art, it can almost negate them doing that martial art during an MMA match. Or like, I guess the most recent example would be MVP versus Paul Daley. Remember that match? From Bellator, where these guys are gonna is gonna be a slam bang knockout match, and then they grapple for 3 rounds.
Yeah, of course.
So I don't think that this fight will go that way, but it's interesting because Souza is undefeated in MMA. Kitaoka has never been submitted in an MMA match.
Oh, of course, they're gonna push that thing to the death.
Also, he's never knocked out anybody in an MMA match, as well.
Of course.
I gotta also talk about like the Rizin confessions that he did. What was it? This was Rizin Confessions 33, and Kitaoka. What was the quote? By the way, also just to let you know, Souza lives in Japan. He came to Japan at 18. Has lived there for 11 years. And he was actually going to get.
Yeah, actually, as a matter of fact, when it comes down to the Souza brothers, Marcos and Roberto Satoshi, they reside in Iwata, Shizuoka, Japan.
Yeah. Kitaoka said that MMA means everything to him. He said that he has no family, no girlfriend. That's like a one-sided love affair with MMA. He says that you're constantly learning. It's a constant passion, constant passion, and it makes you think like it likes you. Then it beats you down. But the feeling of winning is so indescribable. And he says that winning an MMA match is better than ejaculating.
Yay! But yeah, I can understand what he was basically saying, because it's basically like what Felony Charles Bennett said, and I don't want to bear repeating it, even though we just said that, but still, the point of the matter is,
well, like you said,
Kitaoka, MMA is life.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And here's the funny thing as well, that Souza has said the opposite in that video, confession video. He said that he said he's not a big fan of MMA and only does it for the money.
Oh, in that case, I think people are gonna turn on him a lot.
But he's a grappling guy. This is a guy who's doing quintet tournaments, is doing submission tournaments. There's a lot of people out there, that that are just don't want to go into MMA for every reason. Recently, I forgot the wrestler. There was a Russian wrestler, who's he was a guy who beat Cael Sanderson. I'm forgetting his name, but he said that he has no interest in going to MMA ever. I forgot his name. Fuck. But yeah, there are people.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know who he is either.
Well, whoever was
interested. Huh?
The one guy who defeated Cael Sanderson during when Cael Sanderson was wrestling said that the Russian guy said that he would have no interest in going to MMA. So not everybody wants to go into MMA, and it even sounds like that from the way he was talking, Souza doesn't want to be in MMA for a long time. And so they were also just comparing each other's types of their jiu-jitsu, their submission skills. Where Souza has a modern jiu-jitsu approach. He was basically compared to Kron Gracie. That's what they compared him to.
Oh, and I think you were talking about the guy that Cael Sanderson lost to, Albert Sarito.
Yes, that guy. But again, why I'm looking forward to this fight a lot. It's a very compelling matchup between two submission specialists, and I honestly don't know who to pick. My guts would say Souza because he has one win by TKO. I could see him winning that way over Kitaoka, but I can almost see. I want to say that one of these guys is going to submit the other, but I have no idea who can submit and how. It's a tough fight to pick a winner for. It really is. It's a really great, compelling matchup. But I have a gun to my head right now, and I'm forced to pick. I'm gonna be the underdog. I don't know what the Tapology people say yet, but I'm gonna say that Kitaoka submits Souza.
Well, I mean, I would understand your bravery and courage, but the Tapology people have spoken, and they voted 74% out of 100% to see Satoru Kitaoka get mollywopped by Roberto Satoshi de Sousa via submission.
What do you think, Christian? Though, how do you think this fight will go?
If it's a fight between two Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners, I just hope they don't grapple fuck for 15 minutes. I just hope it'll be a nice little submission war between two men that are just looking to tear some body parts limb from limb.
Because I can't see Kitaoka knocking him out. Because Kitaoka really doesn't go for knockouts.
Oh, of course you can't. Neither does De Sousa.
So you think that Souza takes this then?
Oh, yeah, I think that De Sousa is going to take this one because he obviously has a lot to prove, even though he's undefeated at 7-0.
I'm also just gonna say that Kitaoka has just so much more MMA under his belt that he's just gonna know how to fight a better MMA fight. This is probably the highest caliber opponent also that Satoshi has fought in his 7 fights. So this is a big step up. This is an incredible step up.
But he's rolled around on the mat with better opponents, though.
And grappling opponents, that's the thing. Grappling is a lot different than an MMA match, I know, it could turn into a grappling match for all we know. It could be, they can just, not even strike at all. But, I don't think the fight will go that way. I think if it does go to ground, I think that Kitaoka is just going to sneak in a submission somehow. I don't know what submission, but I think he's going to do that.
I can understand that, but all I'm just saying is I think that Roberto Satoshi de Sousa will probably win this fight. That's just my take on it.
And what about this next fight that we got?
Oh yeah, the next fight. The next fight is going to be at the same weight class as the Sosa Kitaoka fight. And I'm probably going to ask you about this lightweight Grand Prix that Rizin is planning to have. But let's just go on with the particulars for this next fight. Damian Beatdown Brown versus deep lightweight champion Koji Takeda. First of all, the particulars. Damian Beatdown Brown, 5'10", 156 pounds with a 68.5-inch reach. Age 34, born Christmas Day, 1984. Fighting at an integrated MMA, Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. He, after having a 6-fight UFC career going 2-4 inside the octagon, bounced back with a victory over Darren, the Detroit superstar Cruikshank at Rizin 14 via guillotine choke submission in a shocking upset, 4 minutes 10 seconds of round number 1. So he'll be looking to improve off the momentum of that fight. His opponent, Koji Takeda, an undefeated 8-0. He stands in at 5 feet 7 inches tall, weighs in at 155 pounds. He is 23 years of age, born August the 13th of 1995, and fighting out of, he is the current deep lightweight champion, fighting out of Brave Gym and hailing from Misato, Tokyo, Japan. And of course, this marks his Rizin Fighting Federation debut after going 6-0 inside the deep ring or cage, most recently defeating Satoru Kitaoka for the deep lightweight title back on October 27th at deep 86th Impact. Now, a lot of people don't know about Koji Takeda, but they're looking to know more about him. Do you think that he'll, breeze his way to victory over Damian Beatdown Brown, or do you think that this crazy koala is probably going to kick Takeda's ass and knock him off his perch?
Well, just also, I'm going to have to give a slight correction to you, Christian, about where Damian Brown trains. He now has his own gym in Brisbane, Australia, called Base Training Center that he runs. It actually opened up just a few weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
So he's no longer at Integrated MMA.
That's cool. That's cool.
Just to let everybody know, we did talk to Damian Brown. That interview is available on SoundCloud and on Stitcher, where we talk about this fight. And one of the things that, Takeda is still a young fighter. He only has 8. He's undefeated, and the last person he defeated to win that deep lightweight championship was Satoru Kitaoka. So, he defeated a high-level opponent. And I didn't see the fight, but apparently he made his face into ground meat, is what I heard. Now, here's the thing, though. Damian Brown, we have seen what he could do with takedowns. If Koji Takeda, and I've watched a few of Takeda's fights, if Takeda goes for a takedown, he can get submitted very easily by Damian Brown, who's a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The other thing as well is Damian Brown can take a beating. He's going beat down for a reason, but he also can take a beating. He stood pretty much toe to toe with Darren Cruikshank, and took some of those nasty elbows and punches to the face and didn't go down. The other thing as well is Koji Takeda hasn't finished a fight. I think in his last 3 or 4 fights, I don't believe he's finished any of his fights. So that tells you that, okay, it means that people can be figuring out his game plan, but they're still losing to it. But also that they can potentially ride the wave and finish him in a later round, potentially.
So you're basically saying that Brown is going to defeat Takeda.
I'm saying that I think that Brown's going to defeat Takeda. I think that Takeda's going to make a mistake. He's going to leave himself open, and he's going to get submitted. It's going to go down the. It's going to go. I think it's going to go exactly like the Darren Cruikshank fight. It's going to go down to the ground, and that's where Damian Brown's going to win the fight.
I see. But the Tapology fan base is not really really on your side here.
They have not been on my side their entire time, it seems like.
Yeah, of course. But like I said, Tapology has the fight going the way of Takeda, 63% out of 100.
I don't blame him for that. He's undefeated, and he's But I just don't see what Takeda has that he can defeat Brown with. I honestly don't see how.
To be honest, that's the whole point of finding out for yourself just how talented the guy is.
Oh yeah, but I think that Takeda is gonna try to take down Brown, and it's just he's gonna leave himself open. He's gonna get submitted that way, just like Darren Cruikshank did. What do you think, Christian? How do you think this fight goes?
I think that. I'm basically saying that even though Takeda is undefeated, even though Takeda is basically currently riding the wave of momentum on his shoulders from an undefeated run in DFC, I think that Damian beat down Brown with the right type of fight skill. He's going to probably break that momentum from him.
Yeah, I think a lot of people wrote Damian Brown or writing off Damian Brown for this fight just because the guy he's facing is undefeated. And in fairness, he has looked good in all of his fights. But there's always Damian Brown is a step up in competition. Don't let his record fool you. His record doesn't speak to what type of fighter Damian Brown is. And if Koji Takeda is not smart, he can, and I think he will get submitted in this match.
Which makes me, when it comes down to that quote, the record doesn't make the fighter. That makes me kind of feel dumb for even doubting Justin Scoggins.
Oh, and the same thing with Scoggins is he's a better fighter as well. And he's when we did the interview of him for his fight Rizin 14, he even said that he was winning his fights, but then he just fucked up, and that's what happens. And if Koji Takeda could, the only advantage that he has is he can since he's 8-0, he can still, take this fight, in a different way than, how he's been fighting all his previous fights, because there's still that little bit of that unknown factor, with him. 8-0 is still young for an MMA fighter. So, I'm just curious to know, would you match up the winner of this with the winner of Souza and Kitaoka, Christian?
Oh, I think that, unlike the flyweight bouts I basically complained over, I wouldn't mind seeing one of these two, either Brown or Takeda, face off against somebody like Roberto Satoshi de Sousa or Satoru Kitaoka, because then it would be a true striker versus grappler matchup.
Mm-hmm. And then we also got that fight.
True fight.
We also got that Flyweight Tournament that's supposed to be coming up this year. So the winner of this could go on to be entered into that tournament.
Actually, the lightweight tournament, not the flyweight.
Yeah, excuse me, the flyweight. Yeah, well, there was also talk of a women's. There was talk of a women's flyweight tournament as well. Kana Watanabe talked about it being a Rizin.
Okay, I understand you.
So yeah, I was getting my weight classes mixed up, but they're both supposed to be having tournaments this year. But the lightweight one should be happening, hopefully by summer.
Yeah, hopefully so. I'm pretty sure they're gonna probably be putting together the particulars for that after the tournament. After this event is over.
Exactly. And if you want to talk about a fight that can have many fireworks, I think the next fight we should go on to.
Oh, yeah, most certainly. And this fight is a catchweight at 68 kilograms or 104. No, wait, actually 68 kilograms or 150 pounds between Luiz Killer Gustavo and the near undefeated Mikuru Asakura. First of all, Luiz Killer Gustavo, the particulars on him. He's 9-0 overall, 5'9", 150 pounds, age 22, born Luiz Gustavo Felix dos Santos on May 25th, 1996 in Curitiba, Paraná, Brazil, representing Evolução Thai MMA, fighting out of Colombo, Paraná, Brazil. Of course, this is his second Rizin fight. This is his second Rizin appearance, and we all know what happened when he faced off against Yusuke Yachi.
Mm-hmm.
He knocked him out and had him staring at the lights with a right straight at Rizin 12. His opponent, the near undefeated Mikuru Asakura, 9-1 overall, 5'10", 145.3 pounds, age 26, born July 15, 1992, fighting out of the legendary promotion Rings. He is a 9-1 with 1 no contest fighter, currently riding a 4-fight winning streak, fighting out of Toyohashi, Aichi, Japan. He is also undefeated inside the Rizin ring at 3-0, knocking out Hatsu Hioki, beating Karshiga Berkut Doubtbeck, and then defeating Leon Takeshi Inoue via left knee knockout at the Heisei last Sharnoka event. So you got a guy in Mikuru who's riding a 4-fight winning streak against Luiz Killer Gustavo, who's really living up to his nickname. Who do you think will win the fight, and do you think that these two will probably, one of these two will probably be on a collision course to something big?
Yes, I'm also going to reference the Rizin Confession 33 video where they profile both Asakura brothers. And I've seen them compared to the Diaz brothers. I think it's a pretty right comparison. And so they do talk with Mikuru. And what was it? I'm also going to correct you. Yachi did not look at the lights. He looked down at the floor. I'll never forget that knockout, Christian. He went. His face kissed the canvas.
Right. Of course.
So they broke down. They actually broke down that fight for Mikuru during the Rise of Conventions video. Mikuru said that Gustavo has a long reach and strikes from a distance. He said that Gustavo has no fear in getting hit, but his stand-up isn't varied. He said that Gustavo is overtly protecting his head and is leaving his body wide open to buy shots, and said that he has no stamina, but he recovers quickly. Says that Gustavo has no stamina, but recovers quickly. Mikuru said that he plans to move forward and go to the body. He says fighting backwards would not be a good strategy. And so, also Mikuru is also very crazy as well. He said that he said it doesn't matter if people are sad if he dies because he'll be already dead, and that he wrote his will in 2000 on his cell in 2016 just in case if he does die during a fight.
Wow.
But about that,
so he's basically going out death by fight.
Exactly. So we got two known killers in the ring. Both have the same win record. Asakura has one loss, but has never been finished. Both these guys are finishers. Both these guys are not afraid to throw down. Both these guys are hard, vicious strikers. This is another fight that I'm really looking forward to because I have no idea, how it's going to go. It's like, here's the thing. Mikuru's going up. They're both, it's a catch weight, so they're both kind of going up in weight a little bit, but they're going up at a weight that they both agree to. Do you know if this fight has elbows or not, Christian, by any chance? Christian?
Huh?
Oh, sorry. Do you know this fight? Oh, well, is this about? Do you know this fight?
I'm here.
Oh, do you know this fight has elbows allowed?
I don't know. We'll probably know We'll probably know by this week when they release the full fight listing, the full fight schedule, actually, when they actually announce the fight card.
Okay.
I don't know if elbows are going to be allowed. I won't be surprised if they are.
Yeah. Um, you know, flip of a coin. I'm gonna have to go with Mikaru on this by knockout. I think this fight doesn't go beyond the first round. I think somebody's gonna kiss the canvas or look up at the lights.
Hey, you say Mikaru. I hate to disagree with you again, but I think Gustavo is going to basically murk poor Mikaru because, like I said before, about fighters that come out of ever locale Thai, they are known killers.
Let's see, and also,
it's as simple as that.
Yeah, I know that Gustavo's also finished all of his fights, while Mikaru hasn't. But he has finished all of his Rizin fights, and has a few submission wins, but not as many as Gustavo. Are this? I want to see. I'm just gonna look up the age difference. 22. Okay, Gustavo's 22. Mikaru is a little bit older. I'm just gonna have to go with. I'm gonna have to go with. I'm sorry, I actually have to correct myself. He didn't finish all of his fights in Rizin. He didn't finish the dropback fight. That's the one fight he didn't finish. But but I have to go with Azakura. I think that Azakura is gonna fight this. I think that Gustavo, he comes from a camp of killers. But you know what? I think he's gonna leave himself open, and he might just get knocked out by a punch from Mikaru. Like you said, he leaves himself open to body shots, and he said that's how he's gonna attack him. If Gustavo doesn't be aware of that, he can go down not by getting knocked out, but by a kick to the liver, a kick to the ribs. That's how I think this fight will go, and I don't think it'll go beyond the first round. I'm so excited for this fight, though. I gotta say.
I understand you.
This actually, I think overall, this might be the best booked Rizin card so far. I think, in terms of just like fight matchups.
Can't disagree with you.
Did you read the Tapology people, Christian?
Oh, my apologies. I almost dozed off for a second before you said that. My bad. The Tapology folks have Luiz Killer Gustavo with an 80% upswing to be the overwhelming favorite for this fight.
Also, Mikaru says that he wants to fight Yusuke Yachi at some point as well, during the Rising Confessions video. So,
hey, that would be a fun fight. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
And he also does say he wants to be in the lightweight tournament as well. And, even though I know Luiz Gustavo is a featherweight fighter, I think that if he wins this, I think he should be entered into the lightweight tournament, even though he's not a normal. He doesn't fight normally at lightweight. But this fight is gonna be fantastic. It's gonna have a lot of fireworks. It's gonna be exciting. I cannot wait for this matchup. It's gonna be if I hope this doesn't turn into like MVP and Paul Daley. I really hope it doesn't. I pray it doesn't.
Yeah, basically where you're trying to see two guys beat the shit out of each other, and then you get a wrestle fuck fest for 15 minutes.
Exactly. I don't think this will be a wrestle fuck fest at all. I really don't think so.
Now, we're gonna do a little things different when it comes down to these last four fights. We're gonna probably go in order. We're gonna talk about the MMA co-main event before talking about the kickboxing bouts. And the MMA co-main event is a 132-pound, 60-kilogram bout between the current Rizin Bantamweight World Champion, the Kiyoji Horiguchi, versus Ben 10 Nguyen, the douchebag stopper. First of all, Ben 10 Nguyen, 17-8 overall, 5'5", 125 pounds, with a 65-inch reach. Age 30. Born in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, USA. On August the 3rd, 1988, he fights out of Nitro MMA, if I'm not... No, wait, actually, no. He fights out of Tiger MMA in Muay Thai in Phuket, Thailand, by way of Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, by way of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. He is coming off of a UFC tenure where he had a 3-3 record, defeating Ken Oskilic, Ryan Baby. Actually, he went 4-3 inside the octagon. He defeated Ken Oskilic, Ryan Babyface Benoit, Revolutionary Gene Herrera, and Tim Elliott, who in the Rizin Confessions video they mentioned was the guy that defeated Hiromasa Okikubo. But he also lost to Luiz, the last Samurai Smoker, UCA Formiga da Silva, and more recently, Wilson Hayes. And this was all after he TKO'd that douchebag Julian Rabald, and then defeated Reese Lightning McLaren, who's currently fighting for one championship. His opponent is the reigning and not defending Bantamweight champion of the world in the Rizin Fighting Federation, the Kyoji Horiguchi. 5 feet 4 inches, 133.9 pounds with a 66-inch reach. Age 28, born October the 12th, 1990 in Takasaki, Gunma, Japan. Fighting out of American Top Team, the legendary American Top Team, and hailing from Coconut Creek, Florida, USA, by way of Takasaki, Gunma, Japan. He is riding an 11-fight MMA win streak dating all the way back to his first big loss to Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson in the latest fight stoppage in UFC history for the Flyweight title back on April 25th, 2015. This will mark 4 years since that fight, and he's been on an absolute tear with the exception of the Tenshin Nasukawa kickboxing bout at Rizin 13. And he is currently undefeated in Rizin competition with a record of 8-0. So, I just have to ask, even though I all want to see at least some type of effort from Benton to win, how bad do you think Kyoji Horiguchi is going to whoop up on this boy?
Well, again, I think that Ben 10 win is a fighter whose record doesn't speak for itself, or who, again, the fighter makes the record doesn't make the fighter. He had only 2 losses in the UFC, and then it was 2 losses, right? And then he got cut?
Actually, 3 losses.
Sorry, excuse me, 3 losses.
But 2 back-to-back.
Okay, gotcha. And, well, here's the other thing as well. What do you think about this fight not being for the championship match? Since he is fighting the Bantamweight champion, but he's not fighting for the belt. What are your thoughts on that, Christian? Do you think that's a little bit weird?
I think they're right in doing that because they want to find the right opponent for Horiguchi. They don't want to basically give somebody that just made his way into the UFC that just made his way into Bellator off of the fact that the UFC probably might be getting rid of the flyweight division within the next 18 months.
The thing is that, though, that I'm a little bit concerned about is what happens if Ben Nguyen does beat Horiguchi? Then he would absolutely have a right to a title shot.
Then he's got... Yeah, he will absolutely have a right to a title shot, but after Horiguchi goes over to the States and fights somebody other than, Darian Caldwell.
I don't know. If he defeated Horiguchi, I think he would have a better case for a title shot than Darian Caldwell. I really do. And anyway, Darian Caldwell will be fighting for the that'd be for the Bellator championship, Bantamweight championship. That wouldn't affect the Rizin championship.
Yeah, it wouldn't affect the Rizin champion, but if Horiguchi does defeat Caldwell for the Bellator belt, it will basically show that Horiguchi will be kind of busy on that end.
I see. I just think it's really strange because, like, I don't know. It's almost like it's when WWE books one of their fighters, one of their wrestlers to have one who has a title to have a non-title match, and they have them lose. It's like, why? It's kind of just I'm just perplexed by it. Why not just have it at just 132? They're having it at 132. A few extra pounds won't make a difference. Why not just have it as a title fight?
I get what you mean.
It's also interesting. Another statistic.
And by the way, the Tapology fan base are basically not giving Ben 10 to win a fighting chance because they voted 94% overwhelmingly to see Horiguchi work up on Ben 10 to win, meaning that Horiguchi's the overwhelming favorite.
I gotcha. So basically, I know that people are running off Ben 10 win and probably yes Horiguchi win. But here's the other thing I gotta point out as well. Do you know that Ben 10 win has a higher finishing rate than Kyoji Horiguchi?
Oh wow! Do tell.
So Rizin came out with these finishing statistics for all their fighters. It's in a graphic format. Let me see if I can try to find it. But I think they had Ben at 80% or 82% finishing. And then Horiguchi was at 60. Let me see if I can try to find it. Okay, here it is. Okay, so Kyoji Horiguchi has a 62% finishing rate, while Ben Nguyen has an 81% finishing rate, which is very surprising to me. So here's what my thought on this fight was: I could see Ben Nguyen finishing Horiguchi, but I could see Horiguchi going, 3 rounds and then, just working over Ben Nguyen for 3 rounds and getting a win that way. Is that all? What do you think about that? Does that sound like a little bit of an odd way to approach the fights? That I could see Ben Nguyen finishing it, but not Horiguchi?
Kind of, sort of, because of the fact that the dude, obviously, Ben 10 to win has been riding a bit of a losing streak, but that's not to say that his record doesn't make him. He made his own record, but the record doesn't make the fighter, as you mentioned before. So I wouldn't be surprised if, I would not be surprised if Ben 10 to win pulls off a miraculous upset, but I just don't think that he can beat Kyoji Horiguchi. I just don't.
I know, I understand. I'm picking Horiguchi to win this as well, but, I can see this going all 3 rounds. I can really see it not going to a finish. Yeah, that's why I'm going to pick Horiguchi. I think it's going to go all 3 rounds.
I understand, but hey, only time will tell. That's all I gotta say about that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the next fight we're going to be talking about, since we're alternating between formats, and since we've been on for a good 4 hours now, as far as recording goes, probably going to split this into 2 parts. But still, the next fight that we're going to be talking about is in the realm of kickboxing. And this bout will be at 61 kilograms, a bantamweight contest between the Hypernova, Taiga Khalaby, and Dalison Gomez Borge Ferreira. First of all, the particulars, which don't really any on Tapology, so I'm just going to go by name and fight count. Dalison Gomez Borge Ferreira fights out at the Shooter Box Academy in Curitiba, Paraná, Brazil, the legendary Shooter Box Academy. He is a veteran of Rise. And I think Knockout, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if you have the particulars or any more info on these two guys, so I'm just going with what I know. His opponent, Taiga Khalaby, a veteran of K1, a veteran of Rise. He also fought one time in the Rizin ring, fighting Kento Haraguchi to a majority draw at Rizin 13 back on September 30th on the same fight card where Tenshin Nasukawa fought Kyoji Horiguchi and won. Taiga represents the Try Hard Academy, fighting out of Sagamihara, Kanagawa, Japan, also alongside fellow kickboxers Ryuka Ampo, Ryuji Horio, Shintaro Masakura, and his brother Hiroya Khalaby, who also fought in the Rizin Fighting Federation. So I just have to ask, what are your thoughts about this fight, and do you think that there might be some parallels between this fight and the Tenshin Nasukawa Fritz Biagton fight?
Well, here's the thing. Taiga sucks. I'm saying it right now. I'm gonna come out there. He looked awful in his Rise match. He hasn't won a fight in quite a few years. He went to a draw in his match with Kento Haraguchi in Rizin when Kento Haraguchi liver kicked his opponent to death in Rise in 25 seconds. Easiest payday he probably ever got. Taiga sucks now. He's not good. He's not. Whatever fighter he was years ago, he is not the same fighter for whatever reason. I have no idea why, but Ferreira, I think, is going to win, and I hope wins. If Taiga wins, good for him, because, it'll be great to see him make a comeback. But, lately Taiga's performances have been awful. And I wish that, people would say it more often, because it needs to be said. If go back and watch his fight, Taiga's fight that he had in Rise. Excuse me. I apologize for forgetting who he fought in Rise. I'm gonna look up right now for the tournament. It was Sexon. It was Sexon that he lost to, and he looked terrible in that match. He really looked honestly awful. Like, for a guy who's from a kickboxing family, his brother Hiroki is also a kickboxer from the Try Hard gym. And a guy who's been saying he wants to fight Tenshin. You know what? I don't want to see this guy fight Tenshin because I know he's gonna lose.
And how would you guess that?
Oh, he would lose in the first round. He would absolutely lose in the first round. Taiga would get knocked out by Tenshin in the first round. I have no.
But as far as this fight,
this fight, yes.
As far as this fight, you got Fahelia defeating Taiga. Correct?
Yes. He fought Sukim in the Rise fight, and he knocked down Sukim twice. But he lost in the end because he got kicked in the right place in the body. Got a deep kick to the body. And so, I admired him and Hector Santiago were the two guys who I came away with, who I didn't know about, who were like, I want to see these guys fight again. And I'm glad that Fahelia, how do you pronounce his last name again? Fahelia is getting.
You gotta remember, man, when it comes down to Brazilian Portuguese names, the R's always sound like H's.
Mm-hmm. So I'm glad he's getting a chance on a bigger stage on Rizin, and I hope he wins the fight against Taiga and gets a bigger name for himself. I think he knocks out Taiga.
Huh. You're basically not even picking. I mean, you're not even having any, remorse about that pick.
No, not when Taiga has been looked awful in his Rise, in that Rise kickboxing match. I'm also gonna look up. I'm just gonna double check his record because I think he's on a 4 or 3 fight losing streak. Taiga.
Okay. While you're at it, what's Fahelia's kickboxing record as well?
I'm gonna try to find that one. That one will probably be a lot harder to find, but we got. Let's see. Okay, so yes, he has one draw. He last won a fight in June of 2017, Taiga, and he lost against Staros X Akoustidas from Greece. I destroyed his last name, but we'll just call him Staros.
You could have basically called him by his first name.
Staros. He lost against Wen Quangbang from China in Kunlun. He had the draw in Rizin after that, and then he just recently lost to Zhu in Ime Legend 36 this year.
Oh yeah, that's in China.
And this year, and then he lost the Rise one as well. So he's on for this year. He's lost 2 fights this year, and barring the draw, he's on a 1, 2, 3, 4 fight losing streak. And one of those losing streaks was losing to a guy who doesn't have a Wikipedia record, getting knocked out in the first round. By the way, in the first round. So I have no reason. I have no expectation for Taiga to do anything. I think even in the fight they had in Rizin, I thought that Kento Haraguchi won that match. I think. So yeah, I don't think I hope Taiga doesn't win, and I hope that Falea wins. How about you, Christian? What do you think?
All right.
Yes, I hope that he wins.
Because after hearing what you had to say about this fight, after hearing all that you had to say regarding, how much you think Taiga sucks, I think I'm going to have to agree with you on that one.
Now, it doesn't mean that Taiga was a bad fighter at some point. It just means that, whatever, he's, a guy of, he's a pretty well-known kickboxer. And yet, he's on a 4-fight losing streak? Come on.
Hey, didn't you say that it's not the fighter that makes the record? Didn't you say that it's not the record that makes the fighter? It's the fighter that makes the record?
That's true, but also depends on the record on those losses as well. And I've seen 2 of the. I saw the one where he got knocked out, and I saw the Rise one, and I know the majority draw. And it's 3 fights I've seen of his, and he has not looked at all like a fighter of his caliber should be fighting at.
Right.
I don't know what I'm trying to look up his opponent's kickboxing record, but I can't seem to find it, or his boxing record. But I have to believe that he has some sort of, at least, reliable record. I can't believe that does Rizin really want to do, a Taiga and tensioned kickboxing match? I can't see them wanting to do that. It would be an absolute waste of time, in my personal opinion.
Hey, I wouldn't blame you, dude. I really would not. But if they did do something like that, I wouldn't be surprised. Just to forget about Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, just to forget about potential opponents from both of their camps. It would be an easy way for them to, just say, hey, we got something for tension other than a fucking boxer that won't allow him to use his natural abilities.
Exactly. Actually, speaking of Manny Pacquiao and the tension fight, did you have a pick for this fight, Christian? You said that you're gonna pick.
I think Fahario will defeat Taiga, but we can go ahead and talk about start talking about the tension versus Biakton fight.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about that fight, because I think that fight will be a lot more noteworthy for many reasons.
Yes, it will be. To be honest, I hope it will be noteworthy, because I don't know if you've seen the recent Rising Confessions episode where they had. I feel that it was a bit rushed, believe you me, but I do think that this is probably going to be a fight that a lot of people will be talking about aside from the light heavyweight title fight that'll be happening.
Mm-hmm.
But
I agree.
alas, this will be a fight that many people will be focusing their attention on. This is a fight that Manny Pacquiao's interest will be laser focused on. This will be a fight that'll probably, I don't want to say move the world, shake the world with score, but still, it's going to be a fight that people are going to have an interest in. Obviously, Tension did say that, he wants the people to, love him more for being a kickboxer rather than just being a boxer in this case. But alas, it is Tenshin Nasukawa, the Ninja Boy, as some people call him, versus Kid Tornado Fritz Aldin Biaktan. First of all, particulars on Fritz Biaktan, if I can pull them up immediately. This damn thing. First of all, the particulars on Fritz Biaktan. He is 23 years old, born July the 25th, 1995. He is a second-generation combatant. His father fought in MMA and fought in boxing as well, and he has a combined combat sports record. He has a combined combat sports record. Are you ready for this?
Yep.
He is 6-0 in Muay Thai, 2-0 in boxing, 12-3 in kickboxing, and 5-1 in MMA. Therefore, his combined combat sports record is 21-4.
That's quite a record.
No disrespect. Yeah, no disrespect to Tenshin Nasukawa, whose combined combat sports record is now, I'm thinking, is it 32-0, 33-0 if I'm not mistaken? Because of that most recent fight that he had inside the Rise tournament?
Yes, yeah, because that counts on an official kickboxing record. Yes, it does.
Oh, yeah. In that case, he is 33. He is 29-0 in kickboxing with 22 or 23 knockouts, if I'm not mistaken.
And
yeah,
mm-hmm.
Tenshin Nasukawa is 29 in kickboxing. Fritz Biaktan is 12-3 in kickboxing. But still, the particulars. Biaktan, fighting out of Hyper MMA in Manila, Metro Manila, the Philippines. Tenshin Nasukawa is 5'4", 124.7 pounds, age 20, born August the 18th of 1998, representing Target and fighting out of Matsudo, Chiba, Japan, by way of Tokyo. So, after all that I tried to get out and mention, do you think that the Kyokushin karate expert Nasukawa will defeat the all-rounded combatant Biaktan? Or do you think that with Manny Pacquiao being at ringside, it's just going to be too much for Tenshin Nasukawa to focus on?
I think Tenshin wins. I think he knocks him out in the first round.
You joking?
Nope. I think Tenshin's gonna easily beat Biaktan. Knock him out in the first round. I don't know how. Maybe he'll do one of his spinny wizard kick things, but I think Biaktan's going down in the first.
I can understand you. I'm gonna pick Nasukawa as well. But are you basically saying that just to shut up the hopes of a potential Pacquiao versus Nasukawa bout?
If anything, that would increase the possibility of it. He goes for Biaktan, now he has to go for Pacquiao. I don't think. Well, So there was that press conference where they announced that Manny Pacquiao is going to be an ambassador for Rizin in terms of getting Filipino talent to come there. I don't know if that's a response to one, because since one does operate a lot of fights in the Philippines and does have a lot of Filipino fighters, I'm not so sure if that is that was a response to them coming to Japan. I think that's a discussion for another time, but nonetheless, Manny Pacquiao, Rizin has somehow managed to work with both Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao to some degree, and that is insane. So regarding Manny Pacquiao, though, with his I don't know what his contract says for Premier Boxing, for Showtime Boxing or the Zone or whoever he's signed with, or who?
Actually, when it comes down to that Premier Boxing champion stuff, I think for right now he's only going to be fighting on Showtime unless a potential fight with Errol Spence Jr. will arise, and then that'll be on PBC on Fox pay-per-view.
Okay, which I would be looking forward to that fight a lot if that does happen. But regardless, do I think a Manny Pacquiao tension fight will happen? I honestly don't think so. I don't think it'll happen. I don't think that's
hopefully not.
I don't think Manny wants that match, and I don't think Tension wants that match, and I'm hoping that Rizin doesn't want that match. But no, I have if Manny's presence and working with Rizin will get more Filipino fighters, and hey, you know what? Maybe we'll see people going from one to Rizin. Maybe Eduardo Foyang will go to Rizin. Maybe what was it? Kevin Bellingham will go to Rizin. They got a lot of Filipino fighters in one. So hey, you know what? If you have Manny Pacquiao working for you, guess what? You have a lot of Filipinos paying attention to you. I can tell you that for a fact, because Manny Pacquiao is like number one there when it comes to celebrity. He is the most well-known Filipino in the world, and he in terms of anything, and he is very much a celebrity there, not just a boxing guy in the Philippines. But
yeah, he's basically aside from some of the controversial things that he say and some of the stuff that he says about the LGBT community, the dude's basically a global icon for the Philippines.
Exactly. So, and here's the thing. I'm going to, regardless of what he said about the LGBT stuff, if he wanted to run, he could run for president of the Philippines and he would win. Or the prime minister.
But the Philippines have their own version of Donald Trump, and I don't think that they will. I don't think that guy would want to cross Pacquiao for all the wrong reasons.
Exactly. But going back to the fight, I think bringing Biagtan in for a MMA fight should be something they should do in the future. And I know that he's a WBC.
Kind of like what they did with Yamato Fujita.
Yeah. Well, no, it was the opposite. They had him do a kickboxing fight, right? Against
yeah, they had Yamato Fujita do MMA, then do kickboxing.
Oh, yeah, they did the mixed rules. I'm sorry about that, yeah. But it didn't even go beyond the first round, so it didn't even matter.
No. Actually, they had him do an MMA fight. Then they had him take part of this crazy tournament where the final opportunity was to fight Tension at the end, and obviously Fujita lost both of those.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was thinking about the kickboxing. I was thinking. Okay,
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, I understand you do.
So but I think that I've watched a few of Biagtan's MMA matches. He actually fights in California for what is it, UUC or whatever it's called.
URCC.
URCC. I think he was a champion before, but I think he lost that title before in the flyweight division.
Yes, he was the URCC Atomweight World Champion.
You know what? Regardless of how the fight goes, I think he'd be a great person to have in their flyweight / bantamweight MMA division. I think that he loses in this one. He's going to Tension's territory. Tension's going to knock him out in the first.
I'm just saying, you sure about that?
I'm 99.9% sure.
Okay, I mean, I'm basically gonna say that he's gonna win too. I mean, either way, no matter which round he wins in via knockout, it's gonna be fine just to see him compete in his natural habitat, compete in his natural form. But, I mean, if he loses via first round knockout, it's just gonna be disappointing, and people are not gonna see him, as this guy who fought Floyd Mayweather.
Oh, you're talking about
People are gonna see him.
You're talking about tension?
Yeah, people are gonna see tension as a bum.
I
hate to say it.
That's true, but I don't think tension's gonna lose this. I honestly don't, so I'm not even thinking about that really, to tell you the truth. Quite honestly.
I understand.
But I think they should keep Youngtown for a while, regardless of the outcome of the fights. I think he'll be a good addition to a regular addition to the Rizin roster. I really do. Because also if they do another kickboxing tournament or something like that, or they want to have another kickboxing match, they'll have a guy who already has that experience, so they don't need to go scouring the earth for somebody else. You already have somebody that you can depend on, and it doesn't have to travel far.
Right. I get what you mean, dude. Now, enough talk about the supposed wet dreams that people are having about Tenshin Nasukawa. Can we please get to the main focal point of this fight card that might as well be the main event?
Absolutely. Let's get right to it.
Yes. This will be the third Rizin World Championship fight, and the third division that Rizin will have a championship for. As this is going to be the main event of the evening or of the day for Rizin 15, as two rivals face off against one another in a bout that has been 3.25 years in the making. Introducing first, at 6 feet 4 inches tall, weighing 203.7 pounds, he is 26 years old, born October 14, 1992, fighting out of Jetsam Gym Brno, under the tutelage of Martin Karavanov, and hailing from Hostradice in the Czech Republic, with a record of 23 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw. He is 8-1 inside the Rizin Fighting Federation, with his only loss in that span coming to the opponent that he faces this Easter Sunday, yearly Denisha Prohaska, and his opponent, with a record of 21 wins, 8 losses, and 1 no contest, at 6 feet tall, weighing 203.8 pounds with a 79-inch reach. He is 38 years old, born January 11th of 1981 in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. He fights out of San Jose, California by way of Dallas, Texas, USA, representing American Top Team. And although he's currently riding a 2-fight losing streak, below 500 record inside the Bellator cage, he is currently, if I'm not mistaken, 3-1 inside the Rizin ring, with his most recent loss coming against Mirko Kokov over 2 years ago. And he is the first ever Rizin tournament winner and the former Strikeforce light heavyweight champion of the world, Muhammad King Mo Lawal. And this fight, as I mentioned before, will be for the Rizin Light Heavyweight Championship of the world. Andrew, your thoughts?
My thoughts? Well, first of all, this is also Rizin history because this is the first intentionally booked Rizin main event to feature only foreigners, no Japanese. The previous ones were tournaments. And the only other one to have a main event with foreigners was the Jay Kuhn Jiri fight, which was changed, which was not supposed to be the main event because Rizin 13 had a hurricane they had to deal with, or a tsunami. But this is the first time that a Rizin event has had a main event booked with the intentional booking of two foreigners. And I gotta say, this is a great matchup. It's a great rematch to have. It's a compelling matchup because, like you said, King Mo's already defeated Jiri. He knocked him out during that tournament, the heavyweight tournament, which King Mo went on to win. But since then, King Mo's been on a kind of downward slope. He's had no finishes since then with his wins. He had one boring ass win against Rampage Jackson. He had another boring ass win against Satoshi Ishii. He's lost against, as you said, Crow Cop, but he's also lost since then. Phil Davis got knocked out by Ryan Bader in 15 seconds in the opener of the Bellator Heavyweight Championship tournament, and he got knocked out by Liam McGeary. So, the guy who defeated his opponents years ago, rematching him, but now he's a much more, I would say, lesser fighter than he was then. But then we got Jiri, who's been on an absolute tear, who's going through all of his opponents like he's got a fucking like he has something to say. Like there's something on, like he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's going through everybody, knocking them all out, finishing them brutally. And other than one match, has won all of his matches but one in Rizin. This is a fantastic main event. I think it's going to end in a knockout. And I think that Jiri Prochazka will be the one that knocks out King Mo to become the inaugural Rizin Fighting Federation Light Heavyweight Champion.
Wow. Just wow. I mean, I can understand where you're coming from. I mean, because obviously, King Mo has had really nothing to celebrate as far as his career after the Rizin, after that first Rizin heavyweight Grand Prix or open weight Grand Prix, whatever you want to call it. And I suggest everybody look at the Furusawa video detailing King Mo's rise and then his fall from grace. Because I know that when it came down to the booking of this fight, Rizin probably had a favor in with Bellator. I mean, I know that they are partner promotions. I know that they're trying to have an event booked in Hawaii later this year. But I think that Rizin basically did a favor for King Mo because they have seen how he's been struggling recently. I mean, the dude is 2-4 in his last 6 fights since the Rizin 2015 Grand Prix. The dude hasn't really managed to get any momentum. I mean, he's lost to Mr. Wonderful Phil Davis. He's lost to Miracle Kokop, albeit in a very spirited effort for 1 minute and 41 seconds. And he got knocked out back-to-back times by Ryan Darth Vader, who is now the heavyweight and light heavyweight champion of Bellator, and Liam McGeary, the former light heavyweight champ, but also had those 2 boring as all hell fights with Rampage and Ishii. So when it comes down to this fight, yeah, somebody is not going to reach the final. No, both of these two men will not reach the final bell. Hell, if it is a Pride Rules fight, 10-minute first round, 5-minute second round, or 2 5-minute rounds after that, I won't be surprised if either one of them make the first 5 minutes, for God's sake. But I made my decision. You made your decision. The Tapology fan base made their decision. And even though King Mo ain't got a snowball's chance in hell, I'm still picking him.
Well, here's the thing. Come
on, man. Come on.
Listen, here's the thing.
Did you really think? No disrespect, man. I know that Prohaska is 8-1 in the Rizin ring, and I know I'm pissing a lot of people from the Czech Republic off with this choice. But, come on, man. If you think about it, the first time that Jiri and King Mo fought, these two couldn't have been no more bipolar opposites. But now, even though Jiri Prohaska is a stronger, more tougher, more rugged competitor, and obviously the record shows that he's been going undefeated since losing to King Mo, I think that King Mo has a little bit of magic left in him, because if you've seen the Forward Sawa video that was put up by the people of the Big Kibosh podcast talking about King Mo's triumphs and failures, you would basically know that there's hope when it comes down to King Mo. You would basically know that, this dude's legend hasn't been written in stone as of yet, and I do think that while y'all are basically saying he's not going to win, and I don't want to disparage the 82% on Tapology that said Jiri Prohaska is going to win, I say bullshit, because I think that King Mo has a little bit left in the tank to make himself a true legend.
Here's the thing.
Your response.
Well, he has defeated Jiri, so you know how, like in MMA is weird. There are just some people who can defeat maybe he can't defeat, Lee McGeary twice, but maybe for some reason he can defeat Jiri twice. You know how there's always that weird thing in MMA where somebody just can't defeat this other opponent for whatever reason, no matter how many times they fight. They can fight 100 times, but that person will always defeat them no matter how many times they fight. That might be a case of King Mo and Jiri. But I do not think it is in this case.
Hey, when it comes down to sporting references, it's the same thing they said about the Buffalo Bills when they went to 4 straight Super Bowls only to get whooped twice by the Cowboys, whooped by the New York Giants in decisive fashion, and whooped by the Washington Redskins. They just can't get the job done. And while I have respect for Jiri, I don't think that he's ready for this version of King Mo, who's ready to dig down deep and just do whatever he can take to win. Let's be real.
I think that King Mo's, his days as an MMA fighter may be coming to a close. I hate, when people say like, oh, someone's on a 2-5 losing streak. Oh, they're coming near their end, as an MMA fighter. I'm gonna break my own rules slightly now and say that, I think that King Mo's been through a lot of wars. He's been through, he's been through 2 tournaments so far in Japan. Actually, don't forget, also started out in Japan as well. A lot of people don't know that. He started out as an MMA fighter in Japan after his...
he fought for Sengoku like 7 times.
Exactly. I just think that, it seems like he's getting to that stage where he just doesn't seem like for the fights he didn't get knocked out in, he just didn't seem to care. He seemed like his mind was somewhere else. Even with the fight that he did win, like against Quinton Jackson and Ishii, he just didn't.
Satoshi Ishii.
Yeah, he just didn't seem to have he didn't seem to care where he was as I'm watching him. He just seemed to be like, I'm just here to wrestle this guy. When's the 3 rounds gonna be up? I think maybe he, I don't know if and I noticed this after he had his, well, I don't want to say his pro wrestling, but I think his peak so far may have been that the heavyweight tournament that he won. And I don't know. I feel like he just doesn't have it in him as a fighter anymore. I think the fighter mentality is not with him anymore. I honestly think that. I think that's what's going to happen in this fight, is that he's going to, it'd be great if he comes in to win, because it'll be an exciting fight. But I think that, regardless of whether he comes a winner or whether he doesn't, I think that he's just going to, I think he's going to be overwhelmed, and he's going to be knocked out by Jiri Prochazka.
Well, I do agree on that, but once again, for the umpteenth time, I have to disagree, because you don't know what a man has to go through when they're desperate. You don't know what a man has to go through when they feel down on their luck. And what King Mo is going through right now is that he is down on his luck, looking for one last gasp just to keep his career going, just to keep the haters off of him, keep the doubters away from him, keep people from saying, I think he's done, I think he's finished, he just doesn't have anything left in the tank anymore. I think that Mo has at least something left in the tank. And I won't be surprised if on Easter Sunday morning, there will be a resurrection of a different kind, and that will be the resurrection of the legend known as Muhammad King Mo Lawal.
Let's save King Mo, or also I want to note as well for the for that Rizin Confessions where they did profile King Mo and Jiri. Jiri said that winning the belt means more than fighting the UFC. He says that Rizin is his priority. Yep, and he said that Rizin is his priority. Is his priority. And what they did was they basically compared the career trajectory of Crow Cop and Jiri. So remember that Jiri was in that. Well, I mean, Crow Cop was in the heavyweight tournament, and then went on to fight Big Nog, and then lost against Big Nog in that title shot. And then
he had a 9-fight tear before losing to Fedor Emelianenko.
So the Rizin Confessions video was basically questioning: will his fight go like Crow Cop, where he can go far, but not to the heights of being champion, or will he break out? Will he be able to break out of that potential outcome? And here's the thing, Jiri is not from Croatia, but the two have had very, very similar careers, and at one point we're going to be having a fight at some point. But obviously right now that cannot happen because Crow Cop is now retired. So that's why they were comparing those two careers, because they're kind of very similar in many ways. I think that I just think that Jiri is going to be the better fighter in this one. And he's going to be a fighting champion for that light heavyweight championship bout. If he wants to bring it to Bellator, it'd be great. And whoever wins, King Mo, Jiri, bring it to Bellator, and then maybe fight for the Bellator title after that.
Oh yeah, and give Ryan Bader some well-needed work, because even though he has been fighting legends, actually not really legends. He beat King Mo, he beat Matt Mitrione, and obviously he flattened Fedor in 48 seconds. But I think that if this fight does determine who faces off against Ryan Bader next, you're either going to get a hungry King Mo, Jinjiri Prohaska.
Here's the question: if whoever wins, and if Ryan Bader, like, say if they set up a match for the Rizin Light Heavyweight Championship and Ryan Bader wins that, would he be the first person to simultaneously hold 3 different belts at one time as a combat fighter?
Yes.
That's amazing. Like, that blows my mind.
That is amazing.
I think that Ryan Bader has said, though, that probably the next opponent was going to be Czech Congo, I think he said.
Well, that wouldn't surprise
me. At heavyweight.
Czech Congo's been desperately needing a title shot.
At heavyweight. It looks like that Bader doesn't want to fight Vadim Nemkov, which is a fight that a lot...
Because if Vadim Nemkov faces off against Bader, it's game, set, match. He's done so.
Yeah, most likely, yeah. But yes, I picked Jiri to win this match and become the first ever light heavyweight champion of Rizin.
And I know, and even though I know that people are gonna say that I'm wrong, I know you're saying I'm wrong, but I got King Mo winning, just for the comeback story to be told. Because if Tiger Woods can do it, I'm pretty sure King Mo can do it too.
And with that, that's the Rizin 15 show, which will be airing on Easter Sunday, 2 a.m. Eastern, I believe it is, for us East Coasters. And you can get it on Fight TV with those beautiful fight credits, or for $19.99, I believe it is the non-fight credit price. And it's going to be a great show. I cannot wait for it. We got a lot of exciting fights, a lot of compelling fights, a lot of fights that are going to mean so much for the future. The only 2 things I wish that I wish could happen. One, I hope it would be great if they have a retirement ceremony for Crow Cop. I think that'd be a great time to have it. What about, you think they should have something like that, Christian?
Hey, I hope so, because it would mean a lot to the legacy of Fedor. I mean, it would mean a lot to the legacy of Miracle Krokop just to give him that retirement ceremony, because, to be quite honest, he deserves it.
Also, and the other thing that needs to be fixed, book Vitaly Shemetov for your Rizin show. Next Rizin show, I want to see Rizin 16, Vitaly Shemetov on that card. I don't care who he's facing.
Yes, I agree with you. Vitaly Shemetov, the dancing Russian bear, he definitely deserves to be on a Rizin card.
And with the amount of time he's waiting, you know what? You might as well just give him a title shot for whoever wins that light heavyweight Rizin championship, because he's probably, with the amount of stuff that he's doing on the internet, traveling to Japan to go to a Rizin show, to go to Rizin's offices, training in the frigid Siberian winter. I shouldn't even say it's winter because it's always cold there. Shirtless and pantsless, by the way. You know what? Give him a title shot as for Rizin 16. Don't even have him face anybody. Just have him face Jiri or King Mo. I say that.
Okay. I agree with you.
But other than that, I'm really looking forward to the show. Is there anything else you want to say, Christian, before we sign off? And I have to go, because I have to go watch Game of Thrones right now.
I understand. Because with that, we are officially done talking our asses off about the Rizin Fighting Federation, at least for now. Until then, you can follow me on Twitter at ChrisCarey92. You can follow Andrew Benjamin at ABenja1. You can follow our respective entities on Facebook and Twitter at Focus Fights, where we cover combat sports events and prospects from all around the globe. The scenes of Japan, Russia, the UK, the US, South Korea, and the world will be emphasized. Oh, and you can follow our show at We Are Rizin Pod. Send an email to us about our comments and Send a complaint or comment to us at wearerisingpodcast@gmail.com. And also, don't forget to check us out on SoundCloud and Stitcher, or wherever audio may be heard.
As well as YouTube. Don't forget YouTube now.
Yes, youtube.com/wearerisingpod, right?
I believe it is. Or let me. It's an entirely new channel that I'm starting to pay attention to. So let me double check on the on that YouTube channel. Give me a second.
If not, and if you can't get the link from Andrew, just search on YouTube. We Are Rising Podcast.
Exactly, and the YouTube channel is I can't even. No, it's under the We Are Rising Podcast name. And this link, the link they have is weird. I don't know what it says. It's like a bunch of.
I understand. It's a multitude of numbers and letters.
Yeah.
But still, we're just about done. But just remember that next week is Easter, and obviously this week is considered Holy Week to religious folks. I know my people are pretty much celebrating it, but still, point of the matter is just remember that, as Lenny Hart said in our interview, which you can listen to on Stitcher and SoundCloud, it's Sunday next weekend. It's Easter Sunday. And what are we all going to be doing, Miss Hard? Just a second. Any second now. In 3, 2. I hate this shit. This damn. Good night, everyone. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to edit the hell out of that one.
Good night, everybody. Thank you again for listening.
Wow.